right, good morning. Guys, we're going to start doing our social studies lesson for this week. Remember, you've only got to do one a week. So this week we're going to work on lesson 2 in chapter 2, Spanish Explorers. So last week, we concentrated on the Native American tribes that were inhabiting Florida before everyone here moved here. So we learned about the different games that they played and how they lived their lives, and it was pretty cool. So this week we're going to learn about the Spanish explorers, who were the ones who kind of moved to Florida and kind of caused the Native American tribes to move away. So let's dive in. There were many Native Americans living in Florida in the late 1400s. Soon, Europeans would claim their land, dividing the world. Europeans and Asians traveled with each other. They traded silk, spices, and other items. To get to Asia, most Europeans went east, traveling by land. This route was difficult and dangerous. European explorers also wanted to find a quicker, easier way to Asia. In 1492, a sailor named Christopher Columbus sailed across the Atlantic Ocean. He believed he could get to Asia by traveling to the west. The king and queen of Spain supported him. When he reached land, he thought he was in Asia. In fact, he had landed near Florida. He was on an island that is today part of the Bahamas. Columbus was in a place that Europeans at that time didn't even know about, which is why they're saying that Christopher Columbus was the one who discovered America. Spain immediately claimed this land. Other countries wanted to control it too. One country was Portugal. Spain and Portugal both wanted control. The conflict was ended by a treaty, and a treaty is like an official agreement saying, okay, I'll be nice if you be nice, kind of thing. The Treaty of Tordesillas was signed in 1494. The treaty divided the Western Hemisphere. Portugal got part of South America and Spain got the rest. Spain also won control of North America, including Florida. Soon Spain began sending explorers to the Americas in search of riches like gold and silver. Of course, Native Americans were already living there and claimed that land too. The first explorers. The first European expedition to Florida took place in 1513. An expedition is a journey made for a special purpose. It was led by Spanish explorer and soldier Juan Ponce de Leon. He was searching for riches. He first explored the island that the Spaniards named Puerto Rico. Then he sailed north and found land. He named it La Florida, or the place of flowers. Free and enslaved Africans also came to Florida. Juan Garrido was an African explorer who lived in Spain and sailed to the Caribbean. He first joined Ponce de Leon in Puerto Rico. Then when Ponce de Leon landed in Florida, Garrido was there too. Historians think he may have been the first free African in the Americas, which is pretty neat. So now we have this little globe right here. And it says, number 1, Spain and Portugal controlled different parts of the Americas. Write Portugal and Spain in the boxes on the map to show what they controlled. So we learned from the first page that we talked about that Portugal got part of South America. So it got down here. And then Spain got North America and everything else. Okay. Exploring Florida. By the early 1500s, Spain wanted to explore the Americas even further. The Spaniards had 2 main reasons for exploring. They were looking for gold, silver, and other riches. They also wanted to spread Christianity to the Native Americans. In 1521, Ponce de Leon returned to Florida with 2 ships and 200 Spanish settlers. Settlers are people who move to a new place and decide that they're going to live there. Ponce de Leon hoped to start a farming colony on the southwest coast. A colony is a settlement ruled by another country. The Calusa already lived on the island, though, so the two groups fought. Ponce de Leon was wounded, the settlers abandoned their plans for a colony, and so they went to Cuba, where Ponce de Leon later died from his wound in that battle. So now we have this map. And they want us to mark the line of longitude shown on the map that is closest to Florida. So we have longitude lines and latitude lines. So the ones closest to Florida is that one. Trying to build colonies. The King of Spain continued to send explorers to Florida. He wanted them to build colonies on the land west of Florida. In 1528, Panfilo de Narvaez landed near present-day Tampa Bay. His crew was made up of both Spaniards and Africans. His ship sailed north. He and his crew continued walking. When they reached their meeting place, the ships weren't there. The ships had gotten lost. Narvaez and his men were on their own. They built their own rafts and tried to sail to Mexico, but all the rafts were lost at sea. Narvaez died. Only 4 men survived that expedition. One survivor was Alvar Nunez Cabeza de Vaca. De Vaca wrote about his experiences. That is how historians know about what had happened. Another survivor was Esteban Dorantes. Dorantes was an enslaved African. He is thought to be the first African to explore a large part of the Americas. Dorantes, De Vaca, and the other 2 survivors knew there were Spanish settlements in Mexico. They explored for years. Then they finally reached the settlements in Mexico. Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto landed in Tampa Bay in 1539. He came with more than 600 people and many supplies. De Soto was looking for gold. He searched for months and did not find any. He and his army left Florida. They never returned. De Soto and his men were, however, the first Europeans to see the Mississippi River. All right, we are going to write the names of these explorers. So this one right here says he named Florida and later died in Cuba from a wound. And that was Ponce de Leon. All right, and this guy is said that he landed in Tampa Bay and later left Florida and found the Mississippi River. And that was De Soto. Okay, and this guy says he was separated from his ships and died at sea, and that was, oops. Can y'all see that that's an A? I messed up, I'm sorry. Kind of have a little. Narvaez. A difficult relationship. Some explorers did not treat Native Americans well. They were cruel to many of the Native Americans. As a result, the Native Americans fought back. Groups like the Timucua, Apalachee, and Calusa were afraid to defend their land. Both Native Americans and Spaniards were killed during these conflicts. The Spaniards had weapons and strong armor. However, the Native Americans had bows and arrows and found ways to attack the Spaniards with them. These fights reduced the Native American population. The diseases brought by the Europeans reduced the population even more. Many Native Americans died from smallpox and the measles, and they could not fight these new diseases. Native Americans and Europeans, both Spaniards and the French, exchanged things related to their cultures. For example, Europeans brought new animals from Europe. They brought pigs, horses, chickens, and cattle, like cows. They also carried metal tools and weapons. Europe gained things from the Native Americans in both North and South America too. Foods like tomatoes, corn, turkey, and pumpkins were all new to the Europeans. So, down here, it says, write some of the things that the Europeans and the Native Americans exchanged. So, from the Americas to Europe, we got corn, tomatoes, turkey, and pumpkins. All right, and then from Europe to the Americas, we got like different kind of animals like pigs, horses, chickens, and cattle. And you can kind of see over here, these pictures. This is what they got from America to Europe, and this is what Europe brought to America. So that's pretty cool. All right, last page. Spain loses interest. Spain sent explorers to the Americas in search of gold and silver. They found hardly any in Florida. There was gold in Central America and South America, however. Spanish explorers traveled there and brought riches back to Spain. They were more interested in these places than in Florida. Spain tried to start colonies in Florida, but none seemed to succeed. In fact, by 1561, there was not a single Spanish town in Florida. The King of Spain decided to give up Florida completely. However, not long after that, Spain would have a very good reason to return. So, it says, in the paragraphs above, underline the reasons why Spain lost interest in Florida. They did not find any gold. So we're going to underline that. And colonies in Florida didn't succeed. So, number 6. Why did the Spanish explorers come to Florida? They wanted to find gold, right? All right, number 7. You are living in Spain. The king is sending families to Florida to set up colonies. Would you like to move to Florida? Why or why not? So that was kind of more opinion-based. Some people would be like, no, I don't like change. And then other people might be like, yes, I love change and adventure. I like if my family could move, then I would be game. So I would say yes if my family I love new adventures. All right, great job, guys. Don't forget, I love you.